All right, so let's just take a moment to get in whatever your comfortable prayer position is. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Take in a couple of good deep breaths. And as you release it, just allow your shoulders to drop a little more. Allow yourself to feel that relaxation. And just pay attention as you relax into this space. Allowing your mind to find those things that you are grateful for. It is a new day. It is a new morning. And while some people really love to see the sun on these mornings, I also love these cool, breezy mornings. Finding that thing that is in your mind, if it is the sun that you like, you can see it because your eyes are closed and your mind is in full power. Find that thing that gives you your smile. And we say, thank you, God. Thank you for this space. Thank you for these like-minded friends that have come together. Thank you for this church. Thank you for this philosophy. And thank you for the life that we get to live today and make the decisions that we will make that move us forward into our highest and happiest and best life. And for that, we claim it well. We claim it so. And so it is, and amen. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. This is a place we all belong. We place our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is a promise in our thankfulness. We know that when we seek, we find. We place our trust in this great holiness. This sacred space is yours and mine. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. Welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. On a journey through the miracles inside.
Good morning, and welcome home to Unity in Greensboro. I'm going to invite you to take a look at a neighbor and repeat after me. And for those of you who are watching us virtually, know that we are saying this to you as well. Good morning. Good morning. I love you this morning. And I sure do appreciate you being here. So again, for those of you who are watching us virtually, we are saying that to you as well. And we invite you at this time to help us grow this loving spiritual community by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our pages. And I'm going to invite you to join me in reading the affirmations of today. Together. I am powerful. I am wise. I use my power to activate wise decisions in my life. I breathe in peace and I breathe out peace because I am the peace I seek. And the reading for today is the daily word, forgive. I begin my journey of forgiveness. Unforgiveness is a heavy bag of rocks I carry on my shoulders. When I drop the bag and begin to set the rocks aside, one by one, I embark upon a healing journey. God is with and within me on this journey as my constant support and strength. When forgiveness feels difficult, I need only return my attention to Spirit's constant loving and accepting presence within me. Reestablishing my conscious connection brings warm and welcoming acceptance. It is an important step in the unburdening process of forgiveness. I forgive others as well as myself. Knowing each act of forgiveness increases my freedom to live a happy, fulfilling life. And in Colossians 3:13 we read, "Bear with one another, and if anyone has a complaint against another, forgive each other. Just as the Lord has forgiven you, so you must also forgive." Now I'm going to invite Rod up here as our prayer chaplain.
Thank you, Maria. I am the chaplain today, obviously. I'm wearing this shawl. I was reminded to wear this so that you can find me afterwards in case you are seeking prayer. I am not the only chaplain here, however, and any of us will be willing to pray with you if you so request. Nana is bringing up the prayer box, which contains prayers that we've received prior to the service. You're welcome to add prayers to that anytime before or after each service. To be included in our prayer list, you can fill out a form and put it in that box. Obviously, you can also go to the link on the website that says prayer request. So prayer works, and I invite you to think of someone or something that you would like to send good energy to. And let's pray. Holy Spirit, we gather here where there is no time and space, connecting with our highest presence, realigning our minds, our body, and our emotions to divine truth. We are made in your image, and with your power, there is a healing presence within each of us. Today we choose to listen to that presence, to embrace it, and to send its energy out across the world. We deny the experience of current moment, and we embrace the possibilities of miracles. We know that miracles happen. We welcome them as we accept the possibilities. All of life is, in fact, a miracle. We imagine the divine blueprint of our minds and bodies being restored fully now. These seeds of faith and creative imagination taking root, soon to be revealed. Imagine what that feels like, what that looks like. Right now, feel it as if it has already happened in the body, in the chest. Feeling profound gratitude. We are each walking miracles of life. We are God expressing. Let us affirm this for the names that I read also. Imagine they too are feeling this new state of being that they desire. New minds, new bodies for the highest good of all. Donis Krawick, Herbert Bird, Chip Roth, Richard Hyatt and family, Mary Turner, Kevin, Kiara, Elisa, and Tommy, Kathleen Strickland, Helen Johnson, Carol Henning, Nancy Cataquet Eduardo, Itada Selassie, Barbara Slate, the people of Ukraine, the people of Russia, Together, let us affirm that these loved ones are whole, perfect, and complete, embracing fully their inner power of imagination, the 12 powers of man. We imagine their belief and faith in the indwelling presence of the healing force growing stronger each day, fully expressing God is actively working in their lives, moving from the appearances to the promise of possibility of miracles fulfilled. Wherever we are, God is. All is well as we continue.
And as we release our loved ones, knowing confidently that it is already all right for them, for God is everywhere equally present. So right where they are, standing with any challenge, God is available, and the source is within them. They are whole, perfect, and complete. And as we say that about them, now let us say it about ourselves. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I allow that to be true for myself. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I relax in that knowledge. I let go and let God. I allow myself to physically feel my hand let go and release any worry, any concern, knowing that I am one with God. I am one with all people. I am one with all life. I am one with the one. So the answers are available within me, and I call them forth for whatever needs arise. I meet this day with confidence and love and joy. It is well. It is well indeed. Taking in a deep breath and holding it for a moment. And then just letting it out. I am ready for today. I am ready for today. And so it is. And amen. And Charlotte is going to come up to tell you about her class that is definitely starting this Tuesday instead of last. And then Maria has more announcements for you.
Oh, thank you. So I have a sign-up sheet in the back for those of you who may not have yet signed up. Right now it's a blank sheet because I had already taken all the names and taken them home with me. But anyway, I wanted to invite anybody who has not yet signed up to sign up today if you'd like. This class is based on my book called Thrival Skills 101, Path to Joy. Moving from survival to thrival. So the book has 6 chapters, so we have 6 classes, and it's going to cover, the first one is finding yourself in transition, which is what we'll be doing Tuesday night. And that's like if you're ever have wondered, when things change, what that process is like to help you move through it, then this class will really be beneficial. And then the next one after that is finding your purpose. Like, who are you here meant to be and why you're here, and getting clarity around that. And the next one is on the Enneagram. The next one after that is on, let's see if I can remember, conscious communication. So communication skills and also looking at the shadow side. The 5th one is a continuation of the finding your purpose, where you create your visioning process and hone in on exactly what you want to be doing in your life. And the last is on prayer and meditation. So it's on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8:30, and it is in person. We will be upstairs in room 216, and you're all invited, and I'm looking so forward to it. Thank you.
I've seen a few faces that I haven't seen in a while. If you haven't already received a packet, I invite you to raise your hand so that our ushers can bring you a little packet. If you have already received it, then if we invite you to fill out the comment card, if you would like to get any more information, we do have an email that goes out, an email blast that goes out weekly that gives you an announcement about all these fun activities like Charlotte's class and what I'm getting ready to read about. And then on Wednesday, May 25th, 6:30 via Zoom only, our beloved Ellie McFalls is going to be leading Tapping into Deep, Peaceful Sleep and Overcoming Insomnia. Probably everybody in here needs to be in that class. I know that's that's something that we all seem to be dealing with right now. I don't know what's going on in the universe. And then next Sunday is Family Day. Our beloved youth will be taking over the church. Please show up to support them. Also, if you have something purple in your wardrobe, we invite you to consider wearing purple. Maybe Wally's going to explain what that's about. And there are sign-up sheets in the back and also online for all of our classes. It's not imperative that you sign up for them, but it does help our facilitators to better prepare. I know Charlotte has handouts and her book and things that she likes to have available. So it is helpful if you sign up for the classes, so we invite you to do that. And now I want to introduce a new singing group that we have with us today. The John and Candy Band is made up of Reverend John Connor and Candy Bartling Connor, who is studying to be a licensed Unity teacher. They have performed at several Unity churches and also play acoustic songs from the 70s as well as standards at music venues around the Triad and in Texas, where I believe they are from. So I invite you to join me in welcoming the John and Candy.
All right, we are absolutely delighted to be here. And this is such a wonderful, thriving church. It's a pleasure to be invited here today. So we're going to sing a song that's a Karen Drucker song. We invite you to be reminded that you are, in fact, the face of God.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family.
And given the importance of this message, we're going to sing this again. And this time, I invite you to envision someone you love, someone who may be weighing on you, you're concerned about that person, and remind yourselves that they are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. And now I'm going to invite you to imagine someone who may be a challenge to you, someone who may be the face of conflict in your heart. But we at Unity know that we are all one, and we are all the face of God. So as you are comfortable, as you're able, envision the person who may be a challenge to you and sing this and think of that person as we sing this.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
I hold you in my heart.
You are a part of me.
You are a part of me.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of
You
love.
are the face of God.
I hold you in my
I
heart.
hold you in my heart.
My
You are
family.
my family.
You are the face of
You
God.
are the face of God.
You are the face of
You
God.
are the face of God.
I hold you in my
I
heart.
hold you in my
You are
heart.
a part
You
of
are
me.
a part of me.
You are the face
You
of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face of
You
love.
are the face of love.
I hold you in my heart.
I hold you in my heart.
You are my family.
My family.
You are the face of
You are
God.
the face of God.
You are my
You are
family.
my family.
You are the face of God. Did you all picture that conflict person for yourselves? Did you entertain them for a moment? I did. I had one. I didn't even have to think about it very long. Y'all ain't got to lie. Y'all did too. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we continue our month of looking at women. I can now say in the Bible because we just had the one Sunday that was and the Bible. So last week we looked at Ruth, who has her own book. Today we're looking at Esther, who has her own book in the Bible. And now we will be complete with women who have books in the Bible. Those two. It's fun for me because I'm very spiritual, but I'm no Bible scholar. Like I'm never going to be that guy that can be like, oh, well, in John 3:16 it says. I'm never, ever going to have the entire, that book or any other book memorized. In fact, it's been a while since I wrote any scripts, but I had a writing partner, and we would write stuff, and then we would mesh it all together and then do an edit. And I was reading something, doing notes, and laughing at stuff, and I was like, that was funny. And then I remembered I wrote it. So, it's like I don't even remember stuff I wrote. So, anyway, all right, so Esther, we're going to cover the entire book. Well, we're going to skip through it. You're going to get the highlights. The main players in Esther is Esther. Esther represents our dissolving power of spiritual love. Then there is King, let's see how close I come to this, Ahasuerus. Ahasuerus. There we go. King Ahasuerus. And he represents kind of the will being puffed up with ambition. And so, we're going to talk. The will is good. It's one of our spiritual powers. Maybe not the best partner with ambition. Will is usually better or ambition really can also be good, but really probably better partnered up with wisdom and some understanding, and then you can use it and actually accomplish some things, right? Queen Vashti is kind of a key player, only she's in the very beginning, and then she's banished. And she represents the emotions of the human soul in their most pleasing aspect of personal love, which is very beautiful and good to the outer consciousness. Haman is kind of the number two guy to the king, and he represents. Basically, it says that he stands for the activity of the phase of the carnal consciousness in man. He's the ego mind, like on its own, without any spiritual partnerships working, right? And then there's Mordecai, cousin Mordecai, who's sometimes referred to as Uncle Mordecai, who's also father figure to Esther Mordecai. And he represents the victorious for truth, a spiritual power working within each soul for its full redemption. And then redemption is one of those trigger words because they say it in traditional church. And all it means is like partnering up your human experience with your spiritual truth. That's redemption. Like and where you need redemption, where you might want to ask for redemption, is if you've gotten caught up in the thoughts of that person we were just thinking of to forgive and release a few minutes ago. And you get caught up in that story. And you're like, oh, you ain't got to tell me. I know exactly what she did. And I can tell you exactly what she said and when she said it. And it's like, now let me stop and get some redemption for myself and get some spiritual truth back in this so that I can heal myself first, because I can't possibly even work on the forgiveness of them until I work on my own, like get my own spiritual truth cooking again, because I sat it aside to get caught up in no, I know what happened. You ain't got to tell me what happened, right? It happened anyway. So those are our players. So here's the basics of the story. The king has had a 180-day party, basically. Banquets and food and drinking and concubines and 180 days of displaying his opulence. That's what he was doing. And it's coming near the end of it, which means he's not sober. And he's ready to brag on his beautiful wife, Queen Vashti, and he sends for her. And the guards come and they're like, the king wants you to come, he wants to show you off. And she's like, tell that drunk fool if he wants to see me to come see me, I'm not going there. And they were like, but it was a king order. And she said, tell him I'm not coming. And so they went and told him. Well, that was the challenge, right? Because not only was it a challenge to the authority of the king who had given an order that she come, when she refused to come, now all the men in the kingdom are scared, because they're like, well, my wife's going to think if the queen can say that to the king, that she can say that to me, and we can't have that. So they went to the king and said, you got to put an order out like saying that we're the ones and that they have to do what we say, right? And that comes in on the metaphysical end of being like a cool lesson to be able to recognize that when that kind of human power thought starts coming up, and that's like, no, let's get a little bit of the love of our soul involved in this, because that's what women metaphysically represent in that. So it's like, look, it happens to all of us that we have that moment. It's like, oh, no, we can't have this soft stuff, because right now there's stuff going on, and it's like, no, let's take a moment, because when that happened back in Esther, it was stupid, and we all agreed it was stupid when we were saying it was men trying to control women, but now let's think about our own thoughts, because we're being stupid too, but we don't want to call it because it's now about us. And all right, so there's your metaphysical on that. So that comes in. Then the queen gets banished, because how dare she, right? And then the king sobers up at the beginning of chapter 2, and he realizes he liked Vashti, and now he kind of misses not having a queen. So now the search goes out to all the kingdom to go find all the virgin women and bring them, and they're going to come through one by one, and there's this whole cleansing process that apparently took a year, and of like oils and perfumes and 6 months of this and 6 months of that. And Esther is called for us to be a part of this. Now, Mordecai, who was her cousin but had raised her because her parents weren't around, said, look, you should probably, kind of keep it to yourself that you're a Jew. And she's like, okay. So she goes through all the process. She makes it to the king. She's the one. She's the most beautiful. He loves her the most. She's the most favored in the kingdom. She's the new queen, right? And in the midst of that, now, since she's inside, Mordecai's hanging out at the gate all the time, right? Now, this dude working in with the king, Haman, he becomes like the most favored of the men, and he becomes the number 2 guy, and everybody is to bow to Haman. But when Haman's near the gate and all these men bow, Mordecai doesn't. And they're like, you know, you have to bow. It's an order. And Mordecai's like, I'm Jewish. I only bowed to God. I'm not bowing to that man. Well, Mordecai didn't like that, right? Just like our ego doesn't like it too much when our spiritual thoughts dare to challenge it. Like when we have that moment, it's like, you know, that's not the right thing to do right here. You know, that's not the right thing to say, but I want to say it. It needs to be said, and your spiritual mind is like, don't say it, right? So Mordecai goes to the king and said, hey, look, there's this group of people in the kingdom who don't think they have to follow your orders, and I think you are to give a decree to have all those people killed. And the king's like, okay. So he gives the decree, right? Now, here's the thing about this when we go through. When I start reading the biblical stories, too, and all these people are getting killed, and it seems like the way it's being written in the Bible that this is okay to do and that God is approving of these people being killed and stuff, it's like, well, that's awful, and I'm not interested in reading that. I'm not, you know. But when we bring it into the metaphysics of it, and this will come up more towards the end of the story, then those people become our ideas, right? And so from this part of the story, our ego thoughts often want to kill those spiritual ideas and get them out of the way so it can get on about its business that the spiritual doing good stuff is holding up, right? So that's where we are in it, right? So the order has gone out. People are getting nervous. They played some game and rolled some dice to decide when this date's going to happen, and it's a little bit down the road, so they got some time. So Mordecai goes to Esther, who's now the queen, and he's like, remember when I told you not to tell anybody you're a Jew? Yeah, now you need to tell them, right? And here's the cool thing about that metaphysically. When you're having new spiritual thoughts, when you just opened your eyes from your meditation and you got some new information, it is really wise not to go tell a whole bunch of people. Because the most loved ones, the ones that have the best intentions, are like, well, that sounds real nice, but now you know you can't do that. Like, you know you're not qualified to do that. You know you don't even know how to begin to do that, right? And they'll kill that idea in a second because it's not strong enough to stand on its own yet. And so that's where we're all invited to kind of hold on to that stuff. But you hold on to it until it gets some feet under it and it can stand on its own. And now that's who Esther is. Now she's the queen, right? So she goes to the king where she's not supposed to go unless she's been called. And if you go in there without being called, then that's death, unless he like points at you and says you can come talk to him, and then it's okay. So, you know, everybody's like, don't go in there. You know you're going to get killed if you go in there, because he hadn't asked you to come. And she said, I have to go. She was willing to. Now she's willing to step forward and say, I have to do what's right, just like our feet with, you know, our spiritual thoughts will once they got some feet under them, right? They'll move forward. So she goes in, and he's like, what can I do for you, my most beloved? I'll give you anything. I'll give you even up to half the kingdom. He'll give her anything, but he's going to keep at least half of it. And she says, I want you and Haman to come to a banquet that I'm preparing, and just the two of you. And so they come to the banquet, and it's a lovely banquet, and Haman is feeling really uplifted now because the queen has been like, oh, this is just for the king and just for me. I'm that important, right? And the king says again, what do you want? I'll give you anything up to half the kingdom. And she said, I'd like you to come back again tomorrow. Now look, I did some good Google deep diving. Everybody's making up. Nobody can tell me why she just didn't cover it, right? She's got them both right there. Why has there got to be a second banquet? But the one thing that does make sense, I mean, the king had just had 180 days worth of banquet. So, you know, it seems like the first one's always kind of the appetizer, right? So, now meanwhile, in the early days after Esther got inside, because Mordecai's kind of always hanging out at the gate, there were two guards that were like kind of sick of some stuff the king was doing, and they started plotting to kill him, and they felt comfortable talking open because they're out at the gate, and these people out here don't matter, except Mordecai was there, and Mordecai heard it. Mordecai told Esther, and Esther told the king, and then the king had those two killed. And so after this first banquet, everybody goes to their rooms. The king can't sleep. He gets up in the middle of the night. He starts reading a book. Some of y'all do that. He's reading the book of the Chronicles. He sees where it's been listed in there that Mordecai saved his life. And he asked his assistants, hey, what'd we end up doing for that guy? And they're like, you didn't do anything for him, right? So he said, well, we got to do something. Hey, bring Haman in here to me. He brings Haman in. He said, what do you think I should do to honor somebody that I really want to let the whole kingdom know that this person is special and deserves to be, honored? And Haman's like, oh, well, I think you ought to put a nice robe on him, and let him ride on the horse and be, paraded around. And the king's like, that is awesome. Go get all that stuff and give it to Mordecai. Except Haman, like another time of Mordecai refusing to bow to him, had a gallows built and was planning on hanging Mordecai that day. And instead, now he's got to walk him around and say, yeah, this dude is really good. He wasn't a little bit ago, I was going to kill him, but now he's awesome, So, see, don't you love the soap opera of this? So, we've had a couple of commercial breaks, just so you know, I can tell. But, so, now it comes time for the second banquet. They get in there. Oh, I love you so much. I'll give you half the kingdom. What do you want? And she said, well, I want you to not let this decree go forward that's going to kill me and all my people. And he's like, who would do something like that? She said, Haman. And so now Haman's like, oh, please, please, please. I didn't know you was one of them. And they're like, hey, there's a gallows that Haman had built out there. And they was like, what are you going to do with that? And he was like, I was going to kill Mordecai. And then the king's like, you're on the gallows. So Haman makes it to the gallows. Now, here's a tricky thing that I thought was really interesting, and I can't say that I would understand it in a human experience way, but the king, the most powerful person, once he puts the decree out, can't reverse it. So he's put out this decree to go kill all the Jews, and now supposedly he can't reverse it. And so, but he then puts out a new decree to tell the Jews that they can defend themselves. I think that's interesting because I think they probably would have defended themselves anyway. But now they've been given permission to go defend themselves, and they take that permission and they go and all these other people that were going to kill them, they kill all them instead. And it's written in a way that we're supposed to be cheering on that all these people are getting killed. Here's the metaphysics of it that makes that actually a cool, good thing. And you can use this and break out the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary if you come across any of these stories in other ways. One of the interesting things that from a metaphysical standpoint of you can't reverse the decree, once you say it, once you do it, once you put it out in the world, you can't erase it. You can just then make good on the other end of it. Like once you said it, you said it. Once you did it, you did it. But now you can go about the forgiveness of it. See, and the lesson of that is some people do that and they want to say, I'm sorry. And then they're mad at you if you still have some feelings rolling, right? It's like, no, you did it. Like I heard you, I forgive you, but you're going to have to give me a minute. Because, see, you were trying to kill me, right? Or you were trying to do whatever to me. And so then you send out the Jews to conquer. And the Jews are our illumined thoughts, metaphysically. The Israelites, the Jews, those are our illumined thoughts. So now we got to take our illumined thoughts, which is often going to happen in some meditation, certainly at least some prayer, where you can praise up, right? Because when you praise, you raise your consciousness. And then you send that out to handle those ego thoughts. To handle those moments, you got to send that out, and those illumined thoughts are going to do away with the thoughts that were not serving you well. And that's where we get to with Esther. So when we have those moments, and I'll tell you, I had a little bit of one I had as I was going through my notes last night. I'm like, oh, well, I had a little bit of that today. So I sang at a funeral yesterday for a very close family friend. And she used to go to a church where the women weren't allowed to wear pants, and the women certainly weren't allowed up to the pulpit. And they were all encouraged not to use a certain florist in Eden because gay men run it. And this man and I were on the same stage. And I wasn't there as a minister. I was just there to sing. And, I wasn't wearing no rainbow stuff, so he didn't know me, so he didn't know, And but I sang a song. And again, like I say that, like one of the things I love about metaphysics the most is it allowed me when I was visiting from California, and I only had a certain amount of time to visit with my mom in a year because we lived on opposite ends of the country, that I could go sit in her Baptist church. And now I've learned the metaphysics, so I didn't have to sit there and endure. I actually got the message. So I can do that now. And now this woman, I wasn't there to teach everybody what I think. I was there to honor someone who was important in my family's life who thought more traditionally. So I sang Just a Closer Walk with Thee, and then I sang How Great Thou Art, and I didn't change almost any of the words. And I did when I sang Amazing Grace, Graveside, I did say soul instead of wretch. But I hit some of those stuff. And granted, Jesus, that's my plea. And then this man's like, yes, amen. Because I hit him because he felt the spiritual truth. And then, but there was that moment, that ego moment, that I was like, I wonder if he'd say that if he knew really everything about me, right? Who I would be dating if I find a date. And I'm like, I wonder if he'd be saying that then, right? But that was my ego moment, right? So I immediately need to call in some Esther to get some spiritual love, to be like, you know what? God bless it. Like this man, I offered something that spiritually lit him up. And so rather than having an ego told you so moment about him, I gave him a moment so that if he were to ever find out more about me, he can't completely think bad about me, because I lit up some God in him yesterday when I sang that song, so much so that he couldn't even be quiet about it. A couple of times, actually. But so anyway, we all have our own things. We all have our own examples. And the ego's going to come up because it's part of us, and that's part of the human experience. But when it does, before we let it take over and gain the power of a Haman that now is then encouraging the king. See, the king was reversible. The king, like I'll get my words out. The ambition was not so good when it was being used with the will, because now it's just about driving forward and doing at all costs to win. But if you took that ambition and you tied it in with some love, which is what Esther did with it, now it was being used for good, and it was being used to just fill the land with the lumined spiritual thoughts, and that land is our minds. So the ambition wasn't bad. It was just not doing good in that current combination, right? And so that's where we can call upon all the Esther that is within us to quiet the Haman that is within all of us and put forward our highest and best and happiest lives that is always available to us all day, every day, all of them. Now is our time to give our love offerings and our tithes to the church, and many of you do that electronically. If you do that electronically, or if you're clicking donate buttons on the other side of that camera, I invite you to place your hands on your hearts as we say this prayer together. If not, I invite you to pray on your gifts as they come around with the bags. You ladies can go ahead and come around with the bags, and then let us all say this prayer together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And with that, I'm going to invite Rod up to say a prayer on these gifts, and then we're going to get some more beautiful music.
Thank you, Wally. I've never learned or knew so much about Esther, which is actually my mother's name, too, so I'll have more to consider when I visit her or talk with her again. Just letting the ushers continue. And if they would, come to the front. Thank you both. Let us pray. Holy Spirit, we bless these gifts, all those who give, all those who receive and benefit from their sharing. We know the act of giving strengthens us, strengthens our beliefs, our faith. It expresses our gratitude that we already feel for being alive, for our current blessings, for the future blessings we know will be there. We freely share our goodwill and blessings to others, to the world, through our generosity of time, talent, and resources. May all who receive find their generosity growing, their faith increasing, and their willingness to see the world as one community expanding. Thank you, God, and so it is. Now we welcome John and Candy back for more music.
And I also thank you for that interpretation. I never heard the word awesome in Bible interpretation so much, but I welcome it. I welcome it.
Appropriately.
Yeah. So we're going to, well, we had a wonderful time, and we weren't the only ones in here. We were at the Paul McCartney concert last night, and that was lovely. And so I'd like to say that he says hello to you all. I think in spirit he does. But he's fixing to be 80, and he's still rocking. So we appreciated that. And this is a lovely song, and it's about sisterhood and brotherhood and being there to help each other out. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Please swallow your pride. If I have faith, you need to borrow. For no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. So just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
If there is a load you have to bear
That you can't carry.
I'm right up the road. I'll share your load.
If you just call me, Thanks for singing along and playing along.
Thank you. So, as part of my LUT training, I'm teaching 2 more classes. I'm going to be finished up in the fall. It's been a 3-year process, very enlightening and lots of details. So, I'm going to be teaching a class called The Eye of the Storm, which I know you all have taken recently. It's going to be via Zoom. It does overlap with Charlotte's class, but if you can't make it in person to her class, please consider joining me on Tuesday nights starting next Tuesday, the 31st, and going for 5 Tuesdays after that. It's a 2-hour class, and you don't even have to read the book. I will present it in such a way that you are welcome to read it, but you are not obligated to read it. So if you're able, I would love to see you there. It's being sponsored by Unity of Winston-Salem, so you can find information there, or you can email me at candy.bartling, Candy with a K and an I, thanks, Mom, candy.bartling@att.net. So thank you. Yes.
And there are flyers for it on the table where the sign-in sheets are. So our sign-up sheets have been useful. I think they've helped everybody really know. We've been working for a while on making sure that we had Wednesday night stuff, but we've definitely seen more attendance since we started having that part of it. So, but we mean that for all of you on the other side of a camera too. We want you to join us virtually and all of that. So one question for you all, we've been doing a Oneness Blessing traditionally the first Wednesday of every month, but Sarah wants to take the summer off. And Ellie and I were talking about seeing if, there used to be a healing circle on various different times within this church, and there hasn't been anything for a while. So we were looking to see if we had healers of various different modalities that wanted to do some stuff on Wednesday nights. And what we really need to know is who's interested in coming to that, or who would only want something that could be offered virtually versus in person. So if you can let us know that. Currently, our first Monday of June, there is nothing scheduled. So if you want us to schedule that, we need to know who's actually committed to coming, because there's preparation to that. So people don't really want to go through all that and then get there and then nobody wanted to come to it. So if you can let us know, that helps a lot on that. So this week, Charlotte's class starts. That's in person upstairs. Ellie's EFT tapping. Consider one night last week I was up till 5:40 a.m. before I went to bed. I'm gonna definitely be there Wednesday night for that. And then next week we're gonna look at Lydia, who is the seller of purple fabric. But May is also our month that we look at the power of power, and its color is purple. So this is the purple month. And Lydia's there. And please, if you can, be here in person to support our youth. I can tell you that it's always better when you got a full room of like-minded people. And so, our youth are going to be the worship assistants, going to lead the meditation, going to give part of the lesson, going to be our ushers and help with the camera. And at least, I'm going to make sure that the little ones are up here. They're going to help with ushering, but, up here dancing around while we do the call to worship song and all that. So please be here to support that. The youth are fully taking over the church. If it goes well, they'll do it again. It's going to go great, and they are going to do it again, probably in July. We're looking at 5th Sunday months, although in July, I'll tell you this real quick. You know how people say, at Christmas, you should celebrate this stuff all year round. And except most people don't. So we're going to put it to a test. In July, we're doing a year's worth of holidays in a month. So we're doing Valentine's, then July 4th will be on July 10th, Freedom, and then we're doing Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And Christmas is July 24th, and so we're probably going to have the kids do the 4th Sunday instead of the 5th Sunday, that one, because, you want kids involved in the Christmas stuff. So anyway, I jump ahead. There's really cool stuff happening in June that I just totally skipped, and we'll tell you about that next week. All right, let's sing the peace song and do the prayer for protection and go out and enjoy this beautiful day.
If it feels comfortable to you, I invite you to stand and join me in singing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Now join me in doing the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well.